So it's about that time once again. A new round of battle rating changes are coming to War Thunder very soon. But welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be doing a talking head video today, and as per usual, I will be basing a lot of this stuff off my own personal experiences, my own opinions and views, as well as using the dev blog as my source of information. I won't be going too much in detail about aircraft. I will mention it just a little bit, but I'm mostly going to be focusing on the ground stuff in the realistic battle setting. Now, there has been a lot more changes, at least the ones that are incoming, that are going to be arcade, but there are some very crucial ones, in my opinion, for the high tier environment, which is where you'll find a lot of my content as well as my own enjoyment be found, mostly, if that makes sense. Now, the first thing I want to go ahead and point out right off the bat is air is going to be getting some significant changes, especially in the entire environment for arcade, RB, simulator, etc. As you see right here, this is the current dev blog that I have opened by Stona. He is the local community manager. He's actually a pretty alright guy. I know some people got some disagreements with him, but he's alright on my end. So if we go ahead and scroll through just a little bit, you'll see some very important things happening. We are going to be getting an updated, I guess, amount of firepower for these types of vehicles, such as advanced missiles right out of the box. That's probably a big important one right there. So instead of having AIM-9Bs, which, let's be honest here, even as a tanker, I know these things are absolutely terrible, but it beats having something that's better than nothing. So, for example, AIM-9Bs are moving up to AIM-9Es, so on and so forth. They're not the greatest, at least not in my experience, but they are way better than the 9Bs, at least in my opinion. And this is going to be a change that's going to be happening for a lot of top-tier aircraft, such as the R3Ss, by the R13M1s, which are pretty okay, at least in my own personal experience. These get the job done for me anyways. And the same thing can be said for the Russians, the Germans, the British, A9Gs. I personally love these very much. FJ4Bs, or F4EJ. I always mix those up a little bit. AIM-9Es, etc., etc. So you guys kind of see where I'm getting at. Gaijin is going to be introducing this stuff right here to make your experience a hell of a lot better, because trust me, that stock grind for most top tier aircraft with just guns only against R60, R60Ms, AIM-9Js, man, they absolutely stomp the new players, especially those with stock aircraft. So this is a good step in the right direction for you guys. But unfortunately, this is where a lot of my information about aircraft is going to stop. I will leave that to the professionals. Spitfire, European, Canadian, I believe, for aviation stuff, and all those other professionals. So let's go ahead and jump over right into the tank side of things. So here you have it. This is the very important list. I have it blown up right here for you guys so that it makes things a lot easier. Now remember, all of this information is going to be linked right down below in the description. I have a tendency of forgetting that, so if you don't see it right away, please leave a comment. Remind me to leave it there if I didn't already. I'm telling my editing self to do this because I have a habit of doing that. But anyways, the biggest thing I want to go ahead and point out is the HSTV-L 10.3 to 10.7. I can understand that. I can say okay with that, but let's be honest here. That 75 or 76 millimeter shell, I forget to be honest, is actually pretty piss poor when it comes to just raw penetration power, or raw just firepower. Although it does make up for a lot of the shortcomings of zero post pen effect with just sheer volume of fire. Again, you can fire off the entire, 26, 27 round rack in a very short amount of time. Next up is the automatic. Okay. I get this. It came in at 9.7. I understand it. 10.7, I get it because of the infrared search and track. That thing is absolutely OP as hell. Plus, you cannot see those shells coming at you, which I totally understand why Gaijin is kind of increasing the PR of this. Hopefully, the repair cost goes down a little bit. IPM1, now this is a big one. This is one where I'm going to say I don't agree with it. Not because the IPM1 doesn't deserve 10.7, but because the IPM1 is now significantly better than the M1A1. I did make a video about this a little bit ago, talking about how the IPM1 overtook the entirety of the M1A1, making that vehicle relatively irrelevant. But on the flip side, this is a good thing because the M1A1, now sitting at 10.3, gives you an incentive to utilize that vehicle as opposed to this one, which will now be sitting at a higher BR. So I completely understand why they did that. I personally do not agree with how they went about it, giving the IPM1 a significantly better shell on a 105 platform and completely negating the entirety of the efficiency of the M1A2, which its 120mm was meant to be superior to that of the 105, which is the reason why we did it. Though this is the realistic sense when it comes to the game, when it comes to balance, I understand it and I accept it. I just don't agree with it in the quote-unquote realistic sense. Though at least the M1 Abrams, at least the M1A1, is going to be made relevant a little bit. Again, M247 to 9.0, don't agree with that, but the proxy fuse rounds are very nice. 9040C, the LVKV, I don't really agree with that either, but proxy rounds made this thing really good for the most part. I agree with that. 9040B, this is an interesting one because this used to be, I believe, battle rating 8.0 or 8.3. Now it is a full BR higher. I was going to say tier, excuse me. A full BR higher to battle rating 9.3. That is absolutely crazy, but I understand it. I take this thing out into top tier all the time. I have dropped, I would say half a dozen nukes just with that vehicle alone, and it does work out incredibly well in the higher tiers. And next up, the AGS. That's actually a big one too. This is a 9.3 vehicle, now up to 9.7. Let's be honest here. This is fresh. It's new. I understood Gaijin was going to kind of under tier this thing, but in truth, I don't really like it at 9.7. There's a personal bias in that, to be honest, but I would like to see it at 9.3, as USA 9.3 is a pretty solid setup, whereas 9.7 can get up tiered to 10.7. So I guess it does make a lot of sense. And of course, just going down and kind of skipping some things. Backlight 8.7, I get it, but that irks me so much. It's an okay vehicle for the most part. I love playing it. I love using it as SPAA, as impromptu SPAA, and it does incredibly well. RCV, I expected that. 7.3 to 8.0. Expected it 8.3. I haven't seen it out as often, to be honest, so I can't really have an opinion on that, but I say it's okay because those Sable rounds are pretty nuts. DF105, I understand it. Good heat show. R3T106FA, I don't play it often. I don't have an opinion. USH 405, this is a little bastard of a vehicle. I hate it. It's still going to work out really well at the higher tiers, so let them have it. Weasel 1A2. You went from 9.0 to 9.7. You were the saving grace for the 9.0 lineup for the Germans, and now you're 9.7. I understand it. I get it. I use this thing at top tier all the time. But man, you just suck away the fun from this. The Bacan, 6.7. Agree with it. Ferdinand, I don't play it, but at least the repair costs are a lot better with that. Everything else for that matter is just mostly arcade. 5.7 to 6.0. I don't really agree with that in the arcade sense, but I don't play it as often, so I really don't have an opinion. This one was needed. 7.3 now to 7.7. It belongs there. Laser rangefinder, great firepower, excellent first stage ammo stowage replenishment. This vehicle was absolutely nuts. I gotta make a follow-up on it at some point. So yes, I agree with it. 7.7, although some may even say it's a little bit under-tiered still. 6.7 on T44. Not really a huge fan of that one, to be honest. I like that 6.3. Been playing like that for years, but I totally understand it. And I guess for the sake of balance, I can agree with it. And yes, I am begrudgingly saying that. Anyways, aside from that, not too many other more important vehicles have gone up there. I know I'm kind of insulting some people who enjoy some of these, but as you can see right here, T-34-100, 6.3, that's interesting. A 100mm gun on a T-34 with BR-412D at 6.3, that's very interesting. We have to see how that one really plays out. As for the Panzer IVs, they are going down to 3.7, so my Wehraboo friends, rejoice. 88 flak right here, staying where it's at, thankfully, and everything else for that matter is pretty much okay. I mean, oh God, when I saw this right here, I thought the Jumbo was going to be going up again. Like, no, don't do this. Stop, Gaijin. It's already dead. It's not really dead for the most part. And that's really it. Chinu 2 has a soft spot in my heart at 4.7. Now, it used to be, I think, 3.3 or 3.7. I used to love this thing so much, but it's a shame it's up to 4.7, but it can still fight incredibly well. So that's going to be it when it comes to my own personal opinions, as many of you have been asking me over in the Discord, in the live streams, as well as in some of the comments in my previous videos, when am I going to be covering over this stuff? I hope this video was very informative to you guys when it comes to my own opinion about these BR changes. Now, on to what I actually think about it. I agree with most of it because, in truth, it's not that terrible. There's no new battle rating increase from 11.3, I guess, or 11.0 to 11.3. I would like to see it for the tanks, but we're not quite there yet. I believe once we see more of the T90Ms, perhaps more modern variants of the Abrams, I can definitely see an increase in BR for ground vehicles to be 11.3. But until then, as it currently stands right now, with the exception of the STRV-122A and the B needing a better amount of firepower, the BR currently that all vehicles sit in, I believe, is appropriate. But in the high tiers, the lower tiers, please bring my jumbo back down. I love it up there, don't get me wrong, but come on, it was a lot more fun back when it was around, what, 6.0, 5.7? Yeah. But there's one more thing. I know some of you guys probably clicked off by now, okay? Hear me out. I see that amount of time you guys sit here and watch these videos, okay? If you guys want to have your opinion, if you want to have your voice heard, go over into the actual forums. I mean, I stay away from it for personal reasons, to be honest, especially as a creator. That's not even the last thing I want to do is use the forums. But to you, as the average player, okay, dare I say the normie, go into those forums, vent out your opinion, and tell them why this is an otherwise good or bad idea for certain vehicles. And I do have friends who do moderate the forums, and they do look at those posts, and they do their best, if that makes sense, to get that information over to the devs as quickly as possible, even more so than us as creators, which I still don't believe we should have a sway, but we do to some extent. So if you see something you don't like, go there, voice your opinion, express yourself, do it in a civil manner, and let them know exactly what you think. Now, I would post a link down to the forums, but in truth, I don't know where to look for it, to be honest. So I'll let the professionals do that, okay? But with all that being said, I hope you guys could take my opinions to heart. Maybe formulate your own opinions. Don't just use mine. Don't just say, oh, Justin said this and blah, 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 okay? I'm just a player. I'm just a normal person like you guys for sure, who loves to play the game and is very passionate about it. So again, if you want to go and share your opinion with me, feel free to drop it down in the comment section below. I will chime in my 2 cents as per usual, and I deeply enjoy seeing you guys have a civil conversation about all this kind of stuff. Okay, so that's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys did enjoy everything. If you want to see either gameplay or hear me talk in a more, I would say, live fashion, you're more than welcome to check out my Twitch streams. The link is down in the description below, as per usual. If you want to support the streams, you guys know how to. War Thunder affiliate link. Use that. You get 3% off. You get my in-game decal, and it supports the channel in its entirety. Patreon is also there, but none of you have really subbed to it, so I might blow that project off, to be honest. Oh man, I'd rather not. But anyways, again, guys, thank you so much for checking this out. Again, let me know what you think, and I'll see you not only in the next video or even those streams, but in War Thunder itself, and maybe even in the upcoming new BRs for certain vehicles. Until next time.